Hi, welcome to Sensations of the Singing Voice, your voice for life, and welcome to the Purple Chair.
Thank you.
Today, we're speaking with Bronwen. Hello, Bronwen.
Hello, Charles.
Gosh, it feels posh when she says that. So Bronwen, as with everybody I ask, what brought you to my door? What's got you on this journey? Because it's been quite a really good... how long have you been with me?
Just over 2 years.
Just over 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, so what brought you here?
Well, I've been thinking about returning back to singing for a while. And
you say returning back. Why? What do you mean? What was this?
I used to do itinerant music lessons, and then sang in a choir, then sang for the Wellington City Chorus and part of a quartet, and then learnt to play the guitar. So I felt I hadn't dedicated a lot of time to singing for quite some time. And then a friend of mine...
But yet you joined the choir. You say you didn't dedicate time to singing. But you were singing.
Yeah, but I think more singing on my own.
Right.
So I learned how to sing the alto part and sing as part of a chorus, but just not really focus on myself.
So you were probably expert in blending, but
yeah,
but you
expert
felt a
in the
little bit
baritone.
of maybe little less service towards yourself.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. And I really wanted to do that. And a friend of mine had mentioned you a couple of times, and then another one of your students that I knew through dancing circles had mentioned you as well. And just thought, well, here's a sign.
She believes in signs. But okay, so I'm really grateful for those signs, because you've been a delight to teach, and I really mean that. It's really good. You always... I don't care if people aren't bright and cheerful, but you always bring an air, an air of willingness to learn, which I think that shows humility. Just being able to sup at the table of knowledge, and I think that's fabulous. And the table of experimentation, you're really agreeable at it. So you wanted to work on yourself. You wanted to be that little bit of introspective, if you like.
Yep.
Do you remember when the turning point was for you over these past couple of years?
I think there were a few actually, but I think probably within the first few months, the lessons we had on breathing particularly really started to resonate.
Yeah.
And then there was probably a point about the 18-month mark, I think, but more on breathing, I think, at that point, but also our lessons on keeping it in the boots and thinking down, that really helped me to sort of focus more and have a less breathy but more controlled voice.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that you did that was just brilliant was that you spent 7 days working on your breath. You actually told me. I asked you, and you said, and you were quite excited about it. You were actually quite animated about the. I spent 7 days working on breathing, and you sang, and it was a complete flip.
Yeah.
Complete flip. I would say it was about month 6, about 6 months in.
Yep.
Thereabouts, maybe.
Yeah, would have been.
But the other thing is that I wasn't the only one to recognise it. Now, a person that I've already interviewed called Lucas, he was sitting outside, and he walked in afterwards and he said, "What's happened to Bronwen's voice? Wow." And he was really taken aback.
Wow.
So that should feel good.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I didn't know.
So he really, really, he could see it, hear it. I could definitely hear it. It was just wonderful to hear.
Yeah.
Actually, do you know what? Can I put you on the spot?
I had a feeling you might.
I don't put anybody else on the spot. Why would you get the feeling? No, I tell you what, I love that Carpenter's song, After long enough. Because we did it. And it was just, what I love about Bronwen's voice is the warmth, and there's such a depth to it. It may not actually be represented here on these microphones, but look, I've got a piano on my phone. I'll give you. Oh, it's amazing what you can do today, isn't it? Look, I'll give you a keynote.
A note. That'd be good.
let's just have a look. I'll just get the app. Quite clever, isn't it? You can get pianos on your phone. Let's have a look. Here we go. There we go. You want to try that? You remember the line?
I do.
Okay.
After long enough of being alone, everyone must face their share of loneliness.
No more. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. You can just feel this lovely warmth. Yeah, really lovely warmth. And I was going to do another one with you, but I won't put you on the spot. I might do that later.
You can.
Thank you. That was really nice. No one's done that yet. So there's a first. Watch out, all those who are going to be interviewed in the future. Bronwen has started to set the bar. Yeah. But what I loved about when you did that week on the breath, and we were singing Memories.
Oh,
right. No. The way we were. Yeah, the way we were. And gosh, it was lush. It was memories. It was so warm, really, really warm, and I just went, "Oh my God! I mean, what's happened here?" So, what else has happened for you in terms of your journey? What's happened?
I think it's been some sort of counterintuitive things that I didn't know before, like particularly around breathing and around thinking in. So really focusing on singing back and in the boots. And it's counter to what you think you should do. So you think, particularly if you're looking at pop singers, singing out and stretching high, whereas actually that's not what we want to do. So it's kind of those counterintuitive things that have really, really helped sort of ground some of what I've done.
Yeah, and it's quite funny because, I saw a sign today on a university and it said, "Get to know your mind." And I don't think there's anything wrong with knowing our minds, but we definitely live in a society where we forget our bodies. I mean, as Ken Robinson, he did a wonderful TED talk, and he said, if the pinnacle of education is to become a professor, professors usually think that the body is something that takes them from one meeting to the next. It transports their head.
Yeah.
And so what you demonstrate is an embodiment of the voice, and not just a cerebral kind of technique where you're thinking, oh, what can I do next? It's very deep within you. And that deep connectivity brings the real woman, When Bronwen first came to me, there was a lot of breath pouring out of your body, and lots of it was bringing you to the point where your posture was failing, and you were going and straying off key, which is one of the reasons why singing in a choir and straying off key is actually not so bad when you just stray slightly off, because you've got another person straying off key into the same
to
area.
Cover you.
It has an element of oscillation that brings a thickness to the sound. Everybody oscillates slightly differently, and so you get a thickness to the sound. But when you isolate some of the choir singers, you find out that, there's issues. And so, and I'm not making any any kind of accusations about choir singing, but often that's not what the choir master's there to listen out for. And you've come along just in leaps and bounds. Range, resonance. I mean, what happened to your range?
Yeah. We've worked quite a lot on my lower range, but interestingly, it's helped with the higher register as well. So I've really increased my range, but at both ends. And that's been really, really cool to see.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but that's actually a rule of thumb in singing. That if you work on building the frequencies in the lower end of your voice, the high range comes.
Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah. So it's been quite amazing to see that actually. Yeah.
So Bronwen, here you are, you're working a couple of years with me. You've really come on quite spectacularly. What are you going to do? Which audiences are going to hear you?
It's a good question. I think I definitely want to continue because I'm really happy seeing the progress in my voice and the expansion of range and expansion of types of songs that I can sing. That's really exciting. But I think at the same time, I would like to have a think about singing a bit more publicly if possible, and probably starting off really small, maybe with a couple of musicians if I can find them or if they're keen. And yeah, no, absolutely, I'm keen to do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's quite funny because I would imagine maybe a couple of years ago that wasn't even in your view.
No, I wouldn't have thought, it wouldn't have even entered my consciousness, I don't think.
Yeah.
And I think just knowing that it is possible and with a bit of work that could happen, it's really exciting.
Yeah, well, there's very few voices who actually have that kind of low sensuality and warmth that you have today. Usually we're looking for the chipmunk.
Right. Can't help.
Yeah. And you've come along and gone, oh my gosh, that's a sensual womanly voice that's got, it isn't going like this. It's not Marilyn Monroe. It's here. Well, that's me as a man. She obviously doesn't sound like that. No. God help us. There can only be one of me.
Yep.
I love that face. Yes, God, Charles, I can tell you. Yeah, so look, Bronwen, continuing your search for your authentic voice, because it's there. It's brilliant. Delight to teach, really is lovely. I enjoy our lessons very much. There's a humility, that kind of wanting to sup at the table of knowledge to honestly get to a point where you're going, you know what, I'm just going to believe this. I can do this.
Yep.
And it's not some distant planet. You remind me of a story. My teacher, who died in 2009, so that's 10 years ago. Long ago, this is maybe. So because I was with him for 20 years, both studying as a teacher and also studying as a singer. And he had a woman, I think she was 40 or somewhere around there. And she turned up for lessons, just wanting to improve her voice. She's very, matter of fact, nonchalant kind of about it, oh, if I like it, I'll do it kind of thing. And she spent a few years with him. And then next thing you know, she's in Europe singing at weddings, and she's wanted all over. Now, I don't know. Now, this is over 15, 20, maybe 20 years ago since I last heard of her. But that was a story of somebody, rather like yourself, comes along, want to improve your voice, but gets to a stage where I really do believe this, where you could take this and you could make this, if not a whole profession, at least in part a profession which you could enjoy and also receive some income from. So I'm quite excited to see what your brain does with that. And obviously I've now put that out in the public.
Thank you. Oh, no.
No pressure. That's great.
Yeah.
But honestly, you're doing so well. Thank you for coming along today.
Thank you.
Really, really enjoy working with you. And if you want to find out how Bronwen is improving and expanding her range and about the idea of working on a principle for 7 days, email me at charles@sensationsofthesingervoice.com or sign up to www.patreon.com/yourvoiceforlife, and you'll see very quickly how your voice will turn and become more free. Once again, Bronwen, thanks for being. Once again, Bronwen, thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you.
I'll see you all on the other side.